The Amazing Digital Circus looks like chaotic cartoon madness, but it isn't random at all. Every character arrived at a specific moment, every abstraction followed a pattern, and every breakdown stacked on top of the last. From its creation in 1995 to Pomni's recent arrival, this is the complete chronological timeline of the digital circus and why it's slowly collapsing. The beginning, 1995. The circus was likely created by a company called C&A, possibly standing for Cain and Abel, a dark biblical reference to the first murder. We know this from the logo on the exit door Pomni discovers in episode 1. But here's the key evidence. The computer hardware running the circus matches mid-1990s technology. The monitor shape, beige tower design, and overall aesthetic all point to Windows 95 era systems. This means the circus couldn't exist before 1995 because the technology simply didn't exist yet. VR headsets were just emerging, and C&A appears to have pushed too far, creating something that traps human consciousness. The circus's retro, pixelated aesthetic supports this 1995 origin. It's built on decades-old code running on ancient hardware, which explains its glitches and instabilities. C&A eventually shut down, leaving the building abandoned but with power still running to that computer, where future victims would discover the cursed headsets. By the way, if you like digital circus timeline content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, Kinger. First arrival, 1995 to 1997. Kinger is the first main cast member trapped here. At 48 years old currently, he's been imprisoned for roughly 25 to 30 years. Before entering, Kinger spent 7 years studying computer science, suggesting advanced degrees or extensive fieldwork. This technical knowledge becomes crucial for understanding his unique abilities. His coming 1995 character teaser supports early entry. Given his computer science background, he may have had connections to C&A, possibly working on the VR project or testing the system. When Kinger arrived, he was coherent and stable, using his knowledge to understand the system. Decades of isolation and losing his wife Queenie eventually broke him into the paranoid chess piece we see today. Ragatha. Second arrival. Ragatha, at 30 years old, likely entered the early 2000s to early 2010s based on cultural knowledge gaps. She was born into a wealthy farming family but suffered under an overbearing, controlling mother who left deep psychological scars. She later worked in real estate, possibly attempting independence from her toxic family. She eventually found a cursed headset in an abandoned building, potentially the old C&A headquarters. Arriving to find Kinger already deteriorating, Ragatha developed forced optimism as her coping mechanism. She became the sweetest little optimist, always smiling through pain. But this isn't genuine, it's a mask, a survival strategy rooted in childhood trauma where expressing negative emotions led to punishment. Ragatha desperately fears being hated and failing at friendships. She tries too hard to befriend everyone, and it shows. Jax notes she seems manipulative, and Gangle finds her optimism forced. But in episodes 5 and 6, when Kinger shares wisdom during his lucid moments, Ragatha begins genuine growth, trying not to be so hard on herself. Jax, third arrival. Jax, 22 years old, likely entered mid-2010s based on his age and cultural knowledge. When he arrived, he chose his name and also named Gangle, suggesting he took some welcoming role early on. Here's what's crucial. Jax wasn't always cruel. When he first arrived, scared and confused, he made a friend named Ribbit. They bonded over their shared nightmare, supporting each other through Kane's adventures. But Ribbit abstracted. Watching his friend's mind break and transform into a glitching monster devastated Jax. The pain was unbearable, so he developed armor. He'd avoid bonding by being mean. If he pushed everyone away, he'd never suffer loss again. His mischievous, cruel personality isn't natural. It's a defense mechanism built from grief. But armor cracks. As episodes progress, Jax struggles maintaining his facade. Genuine emotion breaks through. Some fans believe he's close to abstraction himself, his isolation strategy ironically pushing him toward Ribbit's fate. His mouth only opens during extreme emotions, revealing sharp teeth, a physical manifestation of emotional suppression. He also possesses keys to everyone's rooms, somehow hiding things from Kane. Gangle, fourth arrival. Gangle, 26, entered mid to late 2010s. She worked fast food as a shift manager while nurturing artistic dreams. She was a part-time artist passionate about anime, even pursuing graphic design at community college. But she dropped out for unknown reasons, abandoning her art and returning to fast food management, trapped in a job she hated. During this disillusionment period, Gangle found a cursed headset while exploring abandoned buildings, possibly seeking inspiration or escape from numbness. Her avatar became ribbon-wrapped with interchangeable masks, comedy and tragedy. These masks literally influence her emotional state. The comedy mask allows confidence, while tragedy reveals vulnerability, usually after Jax breaks it. In episode 5, Zooble gives her a plastic mask that doesn't break, and Gangle becomes outgoing but also bossy and manic, revealing hidden personality aspects. The masks represent literal masking, hiding true feelings behind facades. Gangle has been masking her whole life, hiding artistic dreams behind her uniform, disappointment behind customer service smiles, and now her true self behind literal masks. Jax frequently torments her, breaking her masks. Zooble notes she's too shy to speak up, avoiding conflict, a passivity reinforcing her tendency to make herself small. Zooble, fifth arrival. Zooble 22 entered late 2010s to early 2020s, making them the most recent before Pomni. They worked as a tattoo artist and briefly as a bartender. Like Pomni, they explored abandoned buildings for thrills, suggesting the headsets are specifically placed there. Zooble's avatar is uniquely unstable, a mix-and-match toy with parts never consistent episode to episode. This creates severe identity crisis, manifesting as body and gender dysphoria. They never know what they are. Kane provides new parts, but nothing works, reinforcing that something is fundamentally wrong. This frustration manifests as grouchiness and refusal to participate in adventures. Unlike others who developed coping mechanisms, Zooble simply refuses engagement, a quiet rebellion. Despite their exterior, they show compassion, displaying genuine sadness over Kaufmo's abstraction and giving Gangle the plastic mask. Pomni 6th arrival. Pomni 25 is the most recent arrival, likely entering 2015 to 2023 based on YouTube knowledge. She worked as an accountant for a supermarket chain, stable but boring. For thrills, she explored abandoned buildings, recording videos and posting them on YouTube with 0 views. During one exploration, she found a VR headset in an abandoned building, likely CNA headquarters. One theory suggests previous abstractees leave headsets behind when they disappear from reality. Curious, Pomni put it on. She entered as a brightly colored jester with spiral eyes, anxious energy defining her. Unlike others with developed coping mechanisms, Pomni's raw fear is on full display. Her avatar has unique abilities. Rubber body that stretches impossibly, demonstrated when Jax throws her off a truck in episode 2. She also changes colors when holding her breath. Blue, pink, red, orange, yellow, green. Complete timeline summary. 1995. CNA creates the circus using Windows 95 technology. Kinger enters, possibly the first victim. Late 1990s. Queenie arrives, forms relationship with Kinger. She later abstracts, devastating him. Early 2000s to early 2010s. Ragatha enters, develops forced optimism after seeing Kinger's state. Mid-2010s. Jax arrives, befriends Ribbit. After Ribbit abstracts, Jax develops cruel persona as emotional armor. Mid to late 2000s and 10s. Gangle enters after abandoning artistic dreams, receives her mask-based identity. Late 2000s and 10s to early 2000s and 20s. Zooble arrives, struggles with unstable avatar causing identity crisis. Recent past, Kaufmo begins losing grip on sanity. 2015 to 2023, Pomni arrives. Kaufmo abstracts. The show's main timeline begins. Present. Kane deteriorates. Protective measures fail. Characters approach breaking points. The timeline builds towards something catastrophic. Theories and future timeline. Several theories exist about where this leads. Kinger's connection theory. His computer science background, unique abilities, and being first to arrive suggest he may have created the circus or worked for CNA. Perhaps he's the Abel to Kane's Kane, trapped in his own creation. The breakdown cascade. Kane's deteriorating stability, combined with protective measures failing, could trigger accelerated abstractions. Jax appears closest to breaking. The timeline may build toward everyone except Pomni abstracting. The dark ending. The creator confirmed this isn't a happy show. It's sad, traumatizing, desperate. It explores existential crisis when you can't change your situation. The only fitting ending may be tragedy, just as it started. The Amazing Digital Circus timeline isn't just events, it's a carefully constructed tragedy. Each arrival adds horror layers, each abstraction removes hope, each episode reveals systematic psychological breakdown. From Kinger's potential 30-year imprisonment to Pomni's recent arrival, from Queenie's tragic abstraction to Ribbit's loss that changed Jax forever, every moment connects to create a larger narrative about what happens when people are trapped with no escape, forced to watch each other slowly break. As new episodes release, this timeline will expand, revealing more backstory, more tragedies, and hopefully answers about whether escape is possible or if the circus's grip is permanent. One thing is certain. Kane is losing control, characters are reaching limits, and the timeline is building towards something big. What happens next? We'll have to wait and see. But now you understand how we got here, piece by piece, abstraction by abstraction across 3 decades of digital imprisonment. Thanks for watching.